Okay? And I'm telling you, I'm selling right now. If you connect these two stories, you're out of here. It's just done. So the first story is like this. It's Tom and Jerry concept. What's the Tom and Jerry concept? So you have this cat chasing this mouse. Visualize it, right? Cat chasing mouse, we've seen it, we were indoctrinated with as kids, had subliminal images in it, but we're not focusing on that. We're just focusing on the idea that there's a cat chasing a mouse. And this cat goes outside, and this huge elephant is watching this whole thing. So it must be in Africa. It has to be. The story, right? So this cat is chasing this mouse, this huge elephant sees it. This elephant snorts up a bunch of mud. It goes with his trunk, snorts up a bunch of mud, and as he sees the mouse turning the corner, boom, he hits it with a pile of mud, and as the cat is chasing after him, he comes around the corner and he just sees the mud. He just sees the mud. He's like, whoa, where's the cat? I mean, what happened to the mouse? Where's the mouse? The mouse, where is it, right? Okay, he doesn't get it. The mouse is buried in mud. So the mouse, not knowing what's going on, didn't know about this elephant that's out of nowhere. All he knows, he's covered in darkness. He's covered in the mud, right? So he's covered in the mud, and he's like, why am I covered in this mud? Get me out of here. This is ridiculous. I'm trying to run for my life right now. I can't be covered in mud. So the mouse starts digging its way out of the mud. And eventually, the mouse pops his head out of the mud. Now, a few meters away is the cat who already gave up on the chase. The cat already gave up to the chase. It was like just relaxing at this point. It was like far away. But he starts to see this like soil moving, looks up, pokes his head up, and he sees the cat, he sees the mouse, pokes his head out, and he runs over there, boom, he devours the mouse. So what do we learn from this? It's a very big point. This year, no matter how much we dive in, no matter how much we were connected to Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, we're going to have dark moments. We're going to have those moments. They're going to be dark. It's going to happen. But what can we do? We can know that that dark moment, just like the mouse, that dark moment came from somewhere else. And that dark moment was there to protect me from a greater darkness. I'm running from the cat, running from my life. I'm running from the Yetzer Hara. I'm running. All of a sudden, I'm covered in darkness. And I'm like, whoa, I gotta get out of this darkness. No, you're okay. You're okay in the darkness. You're fine. You're okay. There was a greater source that sent that darkness for you to deal with. So instead of rushing to dig yourself out like the mouse, you can just be okay. I'm gonna sit. I'm gonna buy Eris's book, and I'm gonna stay in the darkness. And I'm just going to chill there, and I'm just going to ingest this experience. I'm not going to try to dig myself out of it. I'm not going to freak out. The darkness is okay. We're going to have darkness this year. It's okay. The question is, how are we going to respond to it? Are we going to see that the darkness is our friend, or are we going to try to run away? Okay, that's story number one. Accept the darkness. It's okay, and I'm sure there's many parts of this inside as well. Right? It's covering the little Torah code. So that's one thing, right? Here's the last story, I'm out. I'm going home, I'm going back to Jerusalem. Long ride home. So long ride home. So the thing is like this. The second story is like this. This king has to start with the king, right? Masculine power. So it starts with the king, and the king gets sick. And then the king's calling people all over the kingdom to come and help him heal. Nobody's working. So this town only had a few Jews. Interesting, right? There's a lot of Jews here tonight, Kishon, but in this town there's only a few Jews. So there's one guy, he's a Jew, he's like a physician. He says, you know what? I'll come, I can heal the king. I can come and heal the king. The king's like, whoever can heal me gets like half the royal treasure. It's yours. You heal me, I live, it's yours. So he hears it, he's like, okay, I'll go. So, young Jewish guy comes, a little bit older than Eris, and he says, hey, you know what? I can heal the king. And so he works with the king, he does these different things, shows the king different things. Slowly the king gets better. king, maybe he's not the most righteous guy. So he says like this. The king says, you know what? I know I said you're going to get half the treasure, whoever can heal me, but I'm getting better. I don't feel good about that deal anymore. I'm the king, I'm going to rechange it, right? So the king, he changes the deal, he comes back to him and says, you know what? I'm not going to give you half the treasure, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a special day. You're going to come in there with carriages, empty carriages, and you're going to come in there and you're going to take as much wealth as you can, and then boom, you're gone. Right? You're gone. Right? So this is what happens. The king sets this whole thing up. He says, you're going to come in this particular day. Maybe this day is Rosh Hashanah. Maybe this day is Yom Kippur. Maybe this day is the first day of Sukkot, but it's a magical day. So he comes up on this day, and he says, you know what, here's some carriages, take as much as you can. But the king finds this out, that this particular physician loves music. Just like Eris. He loves music. Right? He loves music. And what does he do? He finds the best musicians to come inside of the royal treasury, and they set themselves up like an orchestra, and they start playing music. So when the guy comes in on this magical day of energy, he comes to collect. The royal treasure, get as much as he can for that day, right? He comes to collect. And so when he comes to collect, he walks in the room, and what does he hear? He hears the best music ever played. And that's his thing. He loves music. So what does he do? He sits down and he listens to the music. He listens to it. Everyone's around, the best musicians, whatever. He sits down and listens to the music. He's enjoying it. And while he's listening to music, you know what they do? All right. This is the end of the story. It's over. So he listens to this music, and he does this for hours and hours, and then he realizes that, you know what? Oh my God, the day's almost over, and I got to collect this stuff. So at the last minute, he goes, and he tries to get as much as he can inside the carriages, whatever, blah, 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 and he takes some, and then he leaves. So he leaves with something. But he was distracted by the music. He was distracted by the music that was created by the king, who didn't want him to take the whole treasure. So we remember this year that we're going to be distracted from the goal. We're going to be distracted from what we're trying to achieve. But if we don't listen to the music, we focus on the goal, we'll be able to get what we want. So that's it. So the two lessons are, the first lesson is when we're covered in darkness and we're going through difficulties, that's the source that's protecting us. Do not despair. The second point is, when we're living life, don't get distracted by the noise. And if we connect to those 2 points, we're about to show everybody in this room is going to have an amazing year. Shabbat Shalom.